hear noise from the street pits.
Okay.
It was the coins. Coins is what did me in. I know it. I'm William Wallace Booth. In 1901, I was Hillsboro's finest harness maker. In the early 1900s, I was the only harness maker, but that doesn't take away from the quality of the work I did. Like a lot of people here in Hillsboro, I came from far, far away, somewhere else. A lot of us came from other parts of the U.S. I was from way back east in Illinois, kind of over by Springfield. I was born in 1845 in a farming area, so I had my youngster years out on the farm and was just getting into my teen years. I just turned 16 when that exciting, horrible, ugly Civil War started and affected everybody's lives around the country. Maybe it was because of the area I lived in Illinois. I didn't get in the war till I was 18. I didn't muster or join the Union Army till I was 18, so I was only in the fighting for a year and a half. And that was more than enough for me. I saw all that I needed to see. Being in the war in that area, I spent my whole time down in Arkansas fighting. And I looked out in Illinois and I got in Vaughn's Independent Artillery Unit, or Vaughn's Special Artillery Unit. I think it's because the captain called it whatever the heck he wanted to call it. But I was thankful I wasn't an infantryman in the Union Army getting mowed down in those horrible battles, huge battles back east and in the south. But my time in Arkansas, it was great being part of the artillery, but I certainly cursed the artillery I was with sometimes because I always thought I'm going to die or get maimed by some fool mistake. Somebody go pick up ammo and they're smoking a cigarette, or they wouldn't put the cannons together right and they blow up on us, or horses would go crazy and run a man down. Not to speak of even the Johnny Reb shooting artillery shells every time they could, but we were blasting away at them as good as we got. But I got out of the war unscathed. Not a nick on me, at least my body. A lot of awful things I saw, and all of us had a lot of bad feelings in the war. Even after we got home, it was kind of hard to get over. But when the war's over, I'm out in 2 months. They mustered me out right near where I lived, ready to start my life up again. In my around 20 years of age, so I felt like in the Army with the Union, I kind of liked working with the horses and fixing the gear. I thought, I think I could do this harness making. I enjoyed it, and there's money in that. I think I have a job the rest of my life, my own business. So I started doing that in Illinois, and as time went on, I was even luckier, and I met the beautiful Frances Ella Green. After an appropriate amount of chasing around and courting, I got her to marry me in 1875. I don't think her mother ever liked me, but by 1880 we already had a few children. Over the years, Ella and I had 6 daughters. 6 daughters. I survived that. I think sometimes it was easier guarding Johnny Reb in a prison camp than dealing with those daughters, but it was okay. I loved every one of them. They were a blessing. I wouldn't have missed a minute of it. Well, as I built my business there in Illinois, I needed something more, and I think it's all the years of hearing about the Oregon Trail. That was so far back when I was growing up, but it gave me an urge to move west. So way before my 50s, Ella and I and a few daughters that were still at home, we moved out to Patrice, Nebraska. Lived over in an area. Patrice wasn't real far from someplace called Omaha. And that was good. Started up my business all over again. And that was okay, but I just needed to see the Pacific, or I needed to be out in the Pacific Northwest. So when I'm 56, I talk Ella and our few daughters that are still at home to move out here, to Hillsboro, Oregon. Portland, too much hustle and bustle and noise. I needed something like this sort of setting. Good town to have a business, but quiet. So that went really well. It went great until I walked down the wrong street at the wrong time. Saturday night, I'm just going home. Closed up the shop. Maybe I should have left earlier that day. But some punk, 15-year-old kid, some drifter, comes sneaking up behind me, trying to to rob me. Well, he had a gun and he shot me. Didn't rob me. I don't know what happened. I don't think he knows what happened, but that was it. I was done for. I hung on for a few hours. I suppose that gave Ella and our daughters were still with us the time to get to me, but that was it. I hung on for a few hours. They got that kid. They got him the next day. They caught him out on some farm that he'd lived on for a while, and within a week of my death, of the shooting, he was in trial, convicted, and sent out to some prison in Oregon where he spent the left of his what was left of his life out in that prison. But that's a story for another day.